All right, you guys can see that right there. We did about 40,000 this week, and the week before that we did 34,000. Yesterday we did 3,000. Today we did 2,000. So we're a bit behind on our goal. Today is day 5 of 60 to hit 300K a month with our agency. In January we did 100K and about 50% net, so 50K in profit. And guys, one thing I want to cut it straight with you guys, right? I am here to give you guys the real numbers, the real profit, the real revenue numbers, the real behind the scenes. Like, this is not going to be a series where I'm talking about, the 3 hacks. Like, no, guys, there's a 15 plus hacks, okay, that we need to dive into. There's so many things going wrong with the agency. There's so many things that we have to work on. And it's just part of growing the company. And so one of the things I wanted to do with this series is to be transparent so you guys can see the full picture. I'd be lying to you guys if I just said, hey, listen, we just hit 40K a week and it was great. So here's this one hack. There was no one hack. Okay. So let me give you guys the thought process, right? So day 5 is 60. How are we going to go from 100K to 300K a month? That's a pretty big task. All right. So right now we have one closer, one setter. I feel like I have to repeat myself, but it's important. Today we actually decided to let go of a setter or let go of a closer, so that we can get back to hitting the numbers, right? And at some point, you have to just eat the cost and be willing to win, right? If you said that you're gonna hit 200K a month by February, if I said I was gonna tell you, I told you guys I'm gonna hit 200K a month in February, I have to bet all my chips and I have to cut fast if I think there's a link inside of that entire thing of us not being able to hit 200K a month. Right. And for us, we just weren't closing deals. We weren't closing at the cash collected that we need to be closing at. I told you guys in February, the goal is to hit 100K in MRR and 100K in new cash. So in order for us to hit 100K in new cash, we have to be closing 20 new clients at 5K or 25 new clients at 4K. All right. So our average cash collected, I showed you guys the previous month, was about 2,500. Right. So 50% of where we need to be at. We need to be at 5K cash collected on average for every new deal that we bring in, and then be able to do 20 new clients. We're closing about 10%. So we're doing half of that and half of that. And you can see right here, it's not going to be a good month. January, we only collected like 20 to 25,000. We collected 25,000 in cash, in new cash, but we took maybe about 60, 70 calls. So I'm seeing a correlation, right? If I see the bottleneck, I have to go ahead and cut it. And so that's what we made the decision to do. And I will be taking an overflow on the sales calls. Our sales lead is going to be taking the sales calls. And so that's the big pivot, right? Right now, it almost feels like we had a whole volume. Even this week, I mean, a little bit of the appointments have been down, but we have, I think we're on pace to do about 30 calls this week. All right. So we have 30 calls on the calendar in a given week, 20 to 30, right? If you guys want to get an idea of what a 200K a month agency looks like, or 300K, we probably have to be scaling, at least 40 appointments a week, 35 to 40 appointments a week, very consistently. So we're going to have our sales lead start to take the closing calls. 2 metrics that I'm looking at is going to be, does the cash collected go up to 5,000 plus, right? When I was taking calls and closing deals, I was at 5,000 plus. We had a program that was about 14K, 12K, just make the pay in fulls irresistible, and then usually split pays. So if you do the pay in fulls and you have some people pay month to month, you're going to have about 5K on average, right? That's what I'm looking for, an increase from 2,500 to 5,000 from last month. Then from there, so let's say that last month we did 25,000, that's going to take us alone to 50,000. And then we were at 10% closing rate. That alone from 50,000, we boost that up to 20,000, double the closing rate from 10 to 20 with a better sales lead. Then that's going to be 100K in new cash. Like I said, guys, February, we're on pace to do 100K in MRR. I think we've already processed probably like 15K of that, and it's February 5th, and we have 3 full weeks left. And so 100K in MRR is going to be coming in, and 100K new cash is the plan. Okay, so that is how we're going to hit our goal. We still have 2 setters that are a little bit behind. We've been holding them to a KPI of 3 appointments a day. So we have 2 setters, 2 amazing setters. They're putting the work, and they're a little bit behind, but also paid ads has slowed down a little bit. So I'm going to go into how we're going to fix that. But they're doing all right. So we've done probably about 12 to 15 appointments between the 2 of them by end of Wednesday, from Monday to Wednesday. So that's going to continue to be a traffic source. Paid ads have been a little bit slow. We just got new ads running on Monday and set the budget from 300. Tuesday, we scaled it to 600. And now I believe that we're still at 600. So that's going to be getting that to 1,000 a day by end of week. And then we're going to have 3 full weeks. My goal is that this is Wednesday. By Monday, we have to have a packed calendar, right? Because this first week was letting go of some people on the team, reorienting the structure of the team and what it looks like. So going to Monday, these next 3 full weeks, we can't have like space on our calendar. It almost gives me anxiety to have space on the calendar because I know that and you guys should know this, right? We have 1 hour slots is our sales call time. And if I have a blank calendar or if I don't have like the entire thing stacked, right? That's been my job is honestly, are these calls being stacked? And then we color code all of our calls on our calendar. So are they being marked, green, 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 green? I want to see as many greens as possible because that's going to show me that we have a high show rate. If we have a lot of calls in the calendar and a low show rate, then that's a problem. If we have a lot of calls in the calendar and they're not closing and they're marked as red or a lot of follow-ups and not closing, then that's a problem. If we have some blank spaces in the calendar, that's a problem, right? So you guys as a founder, as a CEO, you guys always have to look at the calendar and say, how do we pack this, right? We got to make sure, 1, we have appointments. 2, we're closing the deals that we have, right? The appointments that we have. And then 3, you're getting those clients really good results. Right now, I'm just really fixated on hitting 100K new cash in February. So that's day 5. We're scaling the budget right now. Again, we have $600 a day. I'm putting out more creative, so I'm going to record more ads and play the game. Because when you guys are spending about $1,000 a day in the agency space, guys, it's not easy to do. Right? It's not easy to do, and it's also going to cut into your profit. But like I said, profit, you just have to know your lifetime gross profit per client. So if I can stay in our CAC, right? If I can ideally have CAC at 2,000, then I know our LTV, right? And so even if we're spending a lot of money on ads, I'm all about speed, right? I'm all about speed. And one of the questions that I would like to impose to you, and one of the questions that have been super helpful for me is, if I had to 10x the agency game, right? If I had to 10x our revenue mark, right now we're at 100K, and let's say I wanted to 10x to $1 million a month in the next 3 months, what would need to be true? What would need to be true? What would I have to do? What systems would I need in order to do that? If I wanted to hit $1 million a month, a lot of that's going to be a marketing sales game, 1. And not to say that we won't get good client results, but I have to think in that light, right? If in most times in the agency game, your bottleneck is going to be sales and marketing, right? If you can't get that down, you're not going to be able to, even if you have really good client results, you're not going to be able to grow the company past a certain amount, right? And so I just want to make sure while I'm in it, I can just really crack sales and marketing. So how do I 10x? How do I hit from 100K a month to $1 million a month in the next 90 days? I need to have a system that's going to allow me to just get as many appointments so I can hire 3 closers, right? The hiring part I can do. I can probably, 3 closers is probably all we need to hit $1 million a month. But I need a system that's going to be able to get them appointments, to be able to pack, let's say 40 calls per closer. So 120 calls in a week, right? I have to look at TAM. So does our current TAM support that, right? Do we have to go all of medical or just chiro, right? We're going to do chiro, probably dental implants, med spa, plastic surgery. And so we're probably have to open up that niche, right? For us to hit $1 million a month in 90 days, right? Just to be able to spend more on ads. And then do we have a system like ads where I can spend, 1,000 to 5,000 a day or 10,000 a day? All the big guys that you guys see, they're just spending more money. Of course they're good, they're great. But I almost promise you they have a following, they have attention, and they're able to scale with paid ads. They have a system where they can spend 100,000, or they can spend 1,000. They can scale that to 10,000 in a day, right? They have a system to be able to do that, and that correlates into X number of sales calls, X number of show calls, X number of closed deals, X number of cash collected, and new clients. And then if they have a back end, it's more back end profit that they make for the company, and it's really a math game. So hopefully that brings you clarity, right? We're day 5. That's where we're at. We're going to be scaling budget from 600 to 1,000 a day in the agency game, and we're in chiro. Sales leads going to start taking sales calls. I'll be taking the overflow. We have 2 setters, and then we have the ads going out, and then just tightening up the process. We're looking at show rates. Our show rate hasn't been the best, and so just continuously looking at the numbers, right? Week to date, like what are we at for show rate? What are we at for close rates? What are we at for show calls? What are we at for scheduled calls? It's Wednesday right now. If I check in on Friday and I don't have this midday check-in or midweek check-in, then I'm going to be behind on my goals. I'm going to hit Friday and not know where we were at midweek, right, to make adjustments. But now, as I'm going through these numbers, I'm gonna be able to see, okay, what adjustments do we need to make? And I wish we did that sooner with the closing, but now we're seeing that, right? With the closing, it's like, okay, this is way too many pitched and offered and showed calls, and then we just did not hit our goal. So I need to readjust. I need to repivot. If I did this in March, we wouldn't be hitting our 300K a month goal. All right, so I'm excited for you guys to see how we take the agency from 100K to 300K in literally 90 days. You know, we're literally adding in 200K in sales in a single month in a span of 2 months. So hopefully you guys are getting value. You guys are seeing the entire process. See you guys in the next one. Peace.